Good morning. My name is Rachel, and I am the Thrifty Crocheter. We're back indoors today because it's morning. It's a little chilly out. But it is beautiful outside, though. I will give you that, but it's a little chilly for me. October the 9th. 365 Days of Kindness. A wise fool. That sounds interesting, because those sound like two words that shouldn't go together. A wise fool. Let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you seems to be wise in his age, can you repeat the sticking together? Okay, let me start over. Let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you seems to be wise in this age, let him become a fool, that he may become wise. 1 Corinthians 3:18. Are you the kind of person who is considered opinionated? Well, I need some people like that. Perhaps you always seem to have something to say about what is happening at church, work, or in someone else's life. You might think you have wisdom or experience to share that will be useful for that person or that context. It's okay to share your opinion, but it might be better sometimes to just listen. We can fill ourselves up with reading and watching things that align with our point of view. This only serves to build our own bias and doesn't give us a balanced view of things. Don't let yourself be deceived into thinking you know it all. I'm going to read that one again. Don't let yourself be deceived into thinking you know it all. Yes. I knew people like that who think they knew it all. And I kept telling them, no, you don't know everything about everything. Nobody knows everything. No person on this planet is omniscient, which means you know it all. To know everything about everything, that's omniscience. Nobody on this planet is. I don't care how smart you are, there's no way you can know every detail about every little thing. Ain't happening. Sorry. Okay, I had to find where it was in the paragraph. I'm sorry. Instead of being wise in this age, learn the, quote, foolishness, unquote, of the cross. Submit yourself to listening to the Holy Spirit, who will always point you to the truth. Act of kindness. Be a sounding board for a friend. Just listen. You know what? Sometimes you need somebody there that's there to just listen, to actively listen. And I've said this many times before, there is a huge difference between hearing and listening. Listening requires paying attention. And whereas you can just hear something like, you're at home and you're talking with your family, but you have the TV on, and the TV after a while just becomes background noise because you're having a conversation, and a conversation requires paying attention and listening. Or you're in the car with the radio on and it's just background noise while you're having a conversation with whoever is in the car with you. So there's that. Daily Guidepost Devotion for Grandmothers. October 9th. But you know what? To kind of go along with that, I'm going to read yesterday's verse again from here. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. Proverbs 18:2. But here's today's, October the 9th. Make sure there is no root for this. Make sure there is no root among you that produces such bitter poison. Deuteronomy 29:18. The weeds in my rock garden have been especially pesky this year, in spite of my efforts to pluck away at the problem. You can't do it that way, a gardener friend told me as she watched me casually pull a couple of weeds from a bed of bright yellow marigolds. You've got to dig down deeper and get the whole root system, or that same weed will just keep reappearing year after year. She then rummaged through my basket of garden tools, pulled out a long weed digger, plunged it into the dirt next to a weed, and dug out the weed, along with a clump of dirt. This is how you get to the root of the problem, she said, sounding like some wise weed philosopher. Her words got me thinking about some of the pesky weeds in my life. Take procrastination, for instance. Yeah, that's me. I tend to procrastinate on different things. I think we all have our levels of procrastination. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all have our levels of procrastination. On some days, I have a bad habit of putting off the most important tasks that I must tackle. Finally, I force myself to start the project, but in a couple of days, procrastination crops up again. If I stop and dig deeper around the edges of this habit, I find that it is rooted in a fear that I won't do a good job or that I won't adequately meet someone else's expectations. What if I dig out my fear of failure and surrender it to God in prayer? Thanks to my weed philosopher, my garden is starting to look a little better, and so is my life. Father, help me to get to the roots of my problems and surrender them to you in prayer. Carol Kukadal. She does a lot of these in here. Yes. Sometimes we just need to offer up in prayer the roots of our problems and let him handle the rest. Sometimes we just got to give it to God, you know? Okay. October 9. Never alone. And it's this one. Illustrated Words of Jesus for Women. The verse reads, in the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish. Matthew 18:14. Children didn't have much place in the hierarchy of society in Jesus' day. No, afraid they didn't. Neither did women, for that matter. But in this instance, Jesus pulled a small child into the room and explained that just as a shepherd would leave 99 sheep on the hillside to go and find one sheep that had wandered away, God desires for all his children to stay close to him. He pays attention to you and to where you are in your journey of knowing him. So, you can know that you aren't alone and he hasn't turned away. He cares a lot. It is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is from the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. Ephesians 2:8 and 9. I'm going to read that again. It is by grace that you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is a gift from God, not by works, so that no one can boast. Yes. Pride goes before the fall. Yes, it does. I knew somebody who was like that. He would say that he fixed the car even though the mechanic fixed the car because he never worked on the car. He put a roof on even though he paid roofers to put the roof on. He mowed the yard even though he paid somebody else to mow the yard. So how did you do all that if you paid other people? He painted the house even though he paid somebody else to paint the inside the house. So if you paid somebody else to do it, then how did you do it? And why were we paying somebody else if you did it? That makes no sense. And he would hate when I would do that and tell me I'm an idiot. I said, no, you're the idiot. I always tell them you need to give credit where credit is due. They did the work. You did not. You just paid them to do the work. So, I used to get so mad when I would say things like that. Because I'm smart. I'm intelligent. And he refused to acknowledge that. So, with that, this small swatch of yarn has been woven with prayers. As you hold this swatch in your hand, may you feel God's strength, love, and peace flow and know that He holds you in His hands. May God bless and comfort you in time of need and give you peace. Amen. Today's Wednesday, so I hope all of you have a wonderful Wednesday. It's hump day. Y'all remember that commercial with the camel and you like, it's hump day. Like, it's what? It's hump day. It's Wednesday. He was like all excited because it was hump day. Because it was a camel with the one hump. Because, camels can either have a one hump or they can have two humps. So, y'all have a good week, a good rest of your week, and a wonderful Wednesday. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all. Bye.